was the most successful approach, replacing the traditional procedural programming approach. As if you remember, before 80s, the industry used to use the procedural approach, C language. So basically your C language, COBOL language, Pascal language, Fortran language, all these are what we call as procedural programming languages. We call that as a procedural approach. And replacing that procedural approach in the 80s, the object-oriented programming approach came. Okay? Why? Because traditional programming approach, because procedural programming approach doesn't provide you security and reusability. Because, what is that? Procedural programming approach doesn't provide security and reusability. C language, COBOL language, Pascal language, Fortran language, all these things comes under that approach. Got my point, all of you? Okay, so what is the drawback? Because, simply I'll tell you, because this approach, procedural programming approach doesn't provide security and reusability, whereas object-oriented programming approach provides it. Is everyone clear with this? Tell me, understood? Procedural programming approach doesn't provide you security and reusability, whereas object-oriented programming approach will provide you both security as well as reusability also. Both these two things are available to you in object-oriented programming approach. Okay? Now, the first question what we'll have in the mind is, what languages are object-oriented? What languages are object-oriented? So many languages are there here, starting from C++. There are so many languages in the market which are object-oriented. Very popular and very known languages are C++, Python, Java, C#, all our .NET languages, VB.NET, all these languages are object-oriented languages. Okay? So, what is that? What languages are object-oriented? C++, Python, Java, C#, VB.NET, F#, all these are object-oriented languages. Okay, now the next doubt that we'll have is, how can I call when can I call a language as object-oriented? When can we call a language as object-oriented? When can we call a language as object-oriented? Okay? We can call a language as object-oriented. We can call a language as object-oriented, provided that the language satisfies the following principles. The language satisfies the following principles. What are the following principles? First one, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance. Inheritance. Polymorphism. I repeat, if you want to call a language as object-oriented, if at all you want to call a language as object-oriented, the language has to satisfy these principles. So any language which is going to satisfy these four principles, we call that language as object-oriented. What are the principles? Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. So any language that has these particular four principles can be called as an object-oriented programming language. So now the doubt will be, what is encapsulation, what is abstraction, what is inheritance, and what is polymorphism? Okay, so these are the things what we just require to understand now. What is encapsulation, what is abstraction, what is inheritance, and what is polymorphism. So let me first start with encapsulation. Encapsulation. Before going to teach you this four, I want to tell you one thing, all of you. What you know? Everyone sitting in the classroom, everyone sitting in the class, whether you have a knowledge on object-oriented programming earlier or not, okay, everyone sitting in the classroom, whether you have a knowledge on object-oriented programming earlier or not, I don't know. But all of you people are completely familiar with the four principles. You may say, sir, I did not learn C++ earlier, or you may say, I don't know object-oriented programming earlier. You may say this, but what I'm telling is, object-oriented programming is something that is derived from human principles and laws. Object-oriented programming is something that is derived from human principles and laws. So each and everyone sitting in the classroom, irrespective of your past experience, are aware of all these particular four things: encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Every one of you know all these things. I hope you guys are clear. Yes or not? Every one of you are aware of these particular things basically. Okay? You don't know what you don't know, you don't know this is called as encapsulation, this is called as abstraction, this is called as polymorphism, and this is called as inheritance. But you guys are aware of all the four things for you. Everyone is aware of all these particular four things. Okay, na? So let me clarify you about these things. Let me clarify about these particular things, each and everything: encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. What is the first one? You know this and you are following this. What is it? This is all about wrapping the code, guys. It's all about wrapping the code under a container which we call as. We are doing this, we are already following this. We are wrapping the code. We are wrapping the code. Okay, code means members of the program. Okay, code means members of a program under a container which we call it as class. We call it as a class. And we, from day one, if you recollect, from day one, we are following encapsulation. We are writing all our code inside a class only. Correct or not? From day one, we are following encapsulation. That is, we are writing all our code inside a class only. We are just going to completely put our code inside a class and write the things from day one. So that is what we call as encapsulation. So encapsulation is all about wrapping the code. Encapsulation is all about wrapping the code. That is, members of a program are put under a container and we call that as a class. We call that as a class. That's what exactly encapsulation is all about. Okay? Now, see, what is this? Basically, all of us know this here. Object-oriented programming, I said you, it is derived from a human principles and laws only. Whatever we follow in our day-to-day life, the same thing only we follow here also. See, you want to protect anything. What we do? We wrap it. If you want to protect anything, what you do here, you wrap it. You're staying, suppose you guys are staying in a hostel or somewhere. you wash your clothes. After washing the clothes, you just get them, you just take them, you get them ironed. After performing the iron, what you do, you take them and put them in a wardrobe. Yes or not? Or do you just leave it on the table like this? Tell me, do you just put them in a wardrobe or a bag or something, or you just leave it on the table? You leave it on the table, what happens after 4 or 5 days? The complete dust will be accumulated on that, and again you require to wash it now. Am I correct or not? So to protect it from the dust and all the things, what we do, we put them in the wardrobe and close the doors. Correct, huh? So that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm just telling you guys. What's it? Encapsulation basically, it is all about wrapping the code. See, anything that is wrapped is protected. You protect your mobile phone. How do you protect? We have a pouch. By putting the mobile phone in a pouch, we are protecting it now. To protect the screen guard, we wrap it with to protect the screen, we wrap it with a screen guard. So, a simple common sense or simple point what all of us know. What is it? A wrapper always protects the content that is present inside of it. Yes or not? You cook the food, your mother prepares some sweets, some sweets. Okay, some sweets are prepared, some laddus or something. After preparing them, what she does, she put them in a container and put a lid on it. So to protect it now, otherwise they get spoiled. Correct or not? So the same thing only we are going to do here also. We are going to wrap the complete code inside of a container. And what is a container? Class. We call the container as a class. So what's encapsulation? All about security, guys. Encapsulation is all about security. Are you clearer or not? Okay, it's all about security, where we're just going to wrap the code inside of a class. And you remember, I already shown you one picture to all of you earlier. One more time I'm showing you. What is that? Look at this picture. In procedural programs, we directly write off the code in the program. But in object-oriented programs, we don't write the code directly. First, we have a class, and the code will be inside the class. Program is your file. In C language, recollect yourself, in the file directly you start writing the code. But you come to C# here or C++ in all the languages, we are not writing the code directly in the file. First, in the file, we are defining one class, and we are putting the code inside the class there. And that class is a wrapper for all the members. Any doubts? Understood all of you? So this is what we call as encapsulation. Okay, what next? Encapsulation, simple speaking, what is hiding the members. Hiding the members. Where? In a class. Hiding the members in a class. The second thing is abstraction. What is the second thing? Abstraction, guys. What is abstraction? This is all about hiding the complexity of code. This is all about hiding the complexity of code. What is it, hiding the complexity of the code? Listen, what is this abstraction, Suppose, guys, you're driving a car. When you're driving a car, all of you remember, as a driver of the car, just a minute. We're driving a car, and all of you know that a car has an engine. And this engine is internally a collection of various functionalities. Every car has an engine, and the engine is internally a collection of various functionalities. Various functionalities combined together will make up the engine. Got the point? Various functionalities combined together will make up the engine. So what is it? An engine is actually going to be a collection of functions. Okay. Now, as a driver of the car, do we require to know how the engine functions? Silence is not an answer. I asked you a question. I have a bad habit here. If you don't respond, I'll make you stand up in the classroom until the class is completed. If you're ready for that, sit silent. But respond here, you're making me sleep. Understood my question? As a driver of the car, do we require to know how the engine functions? Yes or no? Oh, you know how the engine functions? You're driving a bike now. How the engine functions, tell me? You don't know how the engine functions here. How do you know? You're a mechanical engineer or what? You're talking, you know about the engine, how the engine functions. We don't know how the engine functions at all. Are you clear? A driver of the car doesn't require to know how the engine functions. If the driver of the car requires to know how the engine functions, you know, only a mechanical engineer can drive a car. No other person can drive a car at all. So all mechanical engineers will become drivers now. Do you understand my point? See, we don't require to know how the engine functions. What we require to know is how to control the engine. How to control the engine? To control the engine, it provides you a set of interfaces to you. The clutch, the brake, the accelerator, the gear, all these are available to you. By using all these things, we are going to control the engine. Did you understand me or not? That is only what we call an abstraction. Means, what abstraction, you know? We never know the underlying functionality. We don't know the underlying complexity of the code. What we are given, a set of interfaces, use them, drive the car. That's all. Are you clear? Okay, you watch a movie. Okay, 2.5 hours, you watch a movie by paying under 200 rupees. Okay, but remember guys, the movie to play on the screen, there is an efforts of millions of people in the background. Yes or not? We simply watch the movie and say, are good, not bad. But just understand here the efforts of millions of people. And we don't know how to make a movie. What we know is only how to watch the movie. Where to watch, either in a TV or a theater. So these are the interfaces for us to us. Okay? All of you have a mobile phone. Now. Can anyone answer this question? When you make a call, how the radio signals are transmitted between your device and your target device? Do you know that? How the radio signals are transmitted from your device to the target device? Do we know? I don't know. If you know that, means maybe your background is electronics and telecommunication engineering. Then you can answer. Electronics and telecommunication engineering, if you study, you will answer this particular question. Other people don't know. How many people of them really know how a mobile functions here? 90%, not 90, but 99% of the people really doesn't know how the mobile functions. What they know? Red button to cut the call, green button to take the call. That's all. Yes or not? That's what we know. Okay? All of us have a watch. We know how to see the time. Do you know how the watch operates? In every part of your life, you have abstraction. In every part of your life, you have abstraction. So abstraction means what? Abstraction means hiding the complexity. So how can I use this in my application development? Array, you have abstraction in C language also, you know that? C language also abstraction? Yes. All of you call printf function now. When you call printf function, what is happening? Displaying the output on the screen now. Do you know the internal logic of printf? Do any one of you know what is the internal logic of printf? When I call printf, what happens internally? Don't say displays output on the monitor. That is output. That is external thing. What is happening internally? Tell me that. You make a phone call connect, you will talk on the phone. But how the radio signals are transmitted? That's what I want to know. So here also, when I call printf, I can see the output on the monitor. But what I'm expecting, what exactly happens when I call printf? Don't know. What we know, how to call printf. How to call printf? Printf, format specifier percentile yes, comma, hello world, displays the output. That only we know. Yes or not? 2 days back or 3 days back, you called a sort method here. When you called a sort method, sorted the values of the array. What algorithm has been used for sorting? Bubble sorter, quick sorter. Which sorting mechanism has been used? Don't know. What we know? Array.sort, ARR finish. Are you clearer or not? So that is only what we call abstraction. The best example for abstraction is functions. Functions. We have functions, we know how to call the functions. But we don't know the logic behind the function now. Same thing we call methods. That's what we call the reverse method, we call copy method, we call get length method. So many methods we call, but we never know what is present inside of it. What all of us know is only how to call that method. If you call the method, get the results. How the method functions, don't know. That's what the same point I said here. We know how to operate the gear, clutch, accelerator, brake and all, but we don't know how the engine functions. Is it clear what is abstraction, all of you? So abstraction is present in object-oriented languages or procedure languages also. I said you, it is in C language also I said you now. Why you are telling object-oriented? Abstraction is present in procedural languages also. It is nothing special in object-oriented. Procedure also, abstraction is there. So the best example is functions. Functions are the best example for abstraction. So how are we going to implement abstraction in our code base? By defining methods. By defining methods, I can introduce abstraction into my application. So just understand, abstraction means what? Hiding the complexity. First one is hiding the members. That is hiding. This is hiding the complexity. Third one. What is the third one? Inheritance. What is this inheritance? What this inheritance means? I'll ask a small question. Guys, do you have money in your pockets? Do you have money in your pockets? And I don't want your money here. Answer the question. You have money in your pockets now? How did you get that? Are you doing any job? Are you doing any job? Huh? No. From where you got? From your parents. You got it from your parents. Yes or not? Why are the parents are giving you? Why they are giving you? Because you are their children. Relationship. And what the law says, all the property of the parent belongs to children. That is only inheritance here. That is only inheritance means. What is inheritance? Whatever your parents are earning, you are spending now. Whatever your parents are earning, you are spending. Tomorrow you start earning, your children start spending it. Yes or not? That is what? That's what inheritance is. Basically, this provides you reusability. This provides you reusability. Okay? See guys, your father purchased a house, a big house, a TV, car, all these things. Okay? In the future, are you going to enjoy all these things or not? Yes or not? Okay, same way, for all the ladies, your mother has some jewelries and all these things. In the future, you are going to take that now? Yes or not? That's what basically inheritance is. Inheritance gives you reusability. Inheritance gives you what? Reusability. How can I use it in my application development, sir? How can I use it? Is every class is a collection of members. Every class is a collection of members. You define a set of members in a class. Now, the members that are defined in one class, I wanted to use in another class. The members that are defined in one class, I want to use in another class. If I want to use in another class, I can consume it in two ways. One, copy all the code from class 1, paste it in class 2. Copy all the code from class 1, paste it in class 2. You can use in class 2 also. This is one option. Second option, make class 2 as a child class of class 1. Make class 2 as a child class of class 1. When you make class 2 as a child class of class 1, immediately the law of inheritance comes into action, telling that all the properties of the parent can be consumed by children. Can be consumed by the children. Okay, watch this picture. Did you understand the picture? Class 1 contains what? Members. Class 2 and class 1 have a relationship now. What relationship? Parent-child relationship. Now the members present in class 1 can be consumed by class 2. What is the second option I said here? Copy all the code from class 1, paste it in class 2. Can you call this reusing? Copy all the code from class 1, paste it in class 2. Can we call this as reusing? Useless fellow. That is rewriting here. Why it is reusing? When you copy paste, why will it become reusing here? It is rewriting the code. You are again writing the code. Copy paste is not reusing. Copy paste is rewriting. This is reusing. We are not rewriting the code. What are we doing? reusing the code. That is only the difference between procedural and object-oriented languages. You know what the problem with C language? In C language, if I try to call a function defined in one program in another program, at the time of compilation, compiler copies all the code from program 1 and pastes it into program 2. That is why we say procedural languages doesn't provide reusability. They don't reuse the code. What will they do, you know? They rewrite the code. Understood my point or not? What is rewriting? I said you, copy paste is also rewriting. Because you did not write, I don't call rewriting, that is wrong. You copy paste also, that is rewriting the code only. Understood? Object-oriented programming doesn't rewrite the code. Object-oriented programming will reuse the code. Are you clear, all of you? Yes or not? Procedural languages will do what? Rewriting. Object-oriented languages will do what? Reusing. So that is reusing the code. This picture is reusing the code, not rewriting the code. Anyone has any doubts? Understood? Huh? And don't forget this point. Your parents' property doesn't belong only to you. Yes or not? It belongs to your brothers and sisters also. It belongs to your brothers and sisters also. Okay? You cannot be the sole owner of your parents' property. When you can become the sole owner of your parents' property? If you're only one. If you're only one. But your brothers and sisters, all of you are going to become just going to become the owners of this. It belongs not only to you, it belongs to all your brothers and sisters. Am I correct? Huh? What I'm trying to tell you is, under one parent, multiple child classes can be present and all the child classes can reuse the code. Did you catch my point, all of you? Today I'm showing you only one child class, but how many child classes can be there? N number of child classes can be there, and all the child classes can consume the parent class members. Everyone has equal rights. Everyone has equal right to consume the parents' properties. Is that clear? So this is reusability. Now see, first point I said you encapsulation. Encapsulation is what? Security. Inheritance, reusability. These two are the things lacking in procedural languages. What I said here? Procedural languages doesn't provide security and reusability. Object-oriented programming provides you security through encapsulation. Reusability through inheritance. Okay, now? So I cannot do this inheritance in our procedural languages. I can do it only in the object-oriented languages. So object-oriented languages will never reuse the code. Never rewrite the code. What they do is only reuse the code. Okay? Next. What next? What is the fourth one, guys? What inheritance provides you? Reusability. Next, polymorphism. What is this polymorphism? Polymorphism means, guys listen, polymorphism means behaving in different ways depending upon the input received. Behaving in different ways depending upon the input received. Means when the input changes, then automatically the output or behavior also will change. When input changes, then automatically the output or behavior also changes. I'll tell you a best example. You don't require any example for this year. You people are the best example for polymorphism. You people are the best example for polymorphism. Okay, listen here. All of you completed your examinations in the college now and waiting for the results. Assume, think like all of you completed your examination and waiting for the results. One fine day, early in the morning, you got a call from your friend telling you, the university has announced the results. The university have announced the results today. And congratulations, you are the topper of the college. Did you catch my point? What did they say? University has announced the results and congratulations, you are the topper of the college. Okay? Now tell me guys, how do you feel? How do you feel? Happy? Proud? Happy, proud? Immediately our WhatsApp status will change up, Facebook status will change up, all these things will change up. Yes or not? We start telling our achievement to all the near and dear people, everyone, we start telling that we are the topper of the college. Correct? Huh? But unfortunately guys, you did not receive the call like this. You got a call, but he said you, the results are announced, you have 3 backlogs in the exams. How do you feel now? Now also proud of your achievement now? Now also you're proud of your achievement. The first thing what we do is switch off the mobile phone. Stay away from the social media. Sign out of Facebook, everything. Yes or not? Close the door, sit inside. Now you understand you're the same person. When I said you're the top of the college, you're happy. But when I say that you're lost in your exams, your backlogs in your examination, you're sad. This is what we call as polymorphism. Behaving in different ways depending upon the input received. What is the input I given you? Topper of the college, backlogs in exams. And based on that, you are happy or you are sad. Is it clear what is polymorphism? Understood? What is that? Behaving in different ways depending upon the input received. When input changes, then automatically the output or behavior also changes. So that's called polymorphism. Is it clear, all of you? So these are the 4 principles. Now tell me, who don't know these 4 things now? Who don't know these particular 4 things? Do you require to learn object-oriented programming for this? Did I talk about object-oriented programming for you here? Encapsulation? We know. You're wearing a dress now. Today dress became a fashion. But a dress is a production to our body. Encapsulation? Yes or not? In winter, what we do? In winter, we try to use woolen. In summer, we use cotton. In summer, will you use woolen clothes? Will you wear a jerkin, something like a woolen sweaters or anything in the summer? No. So that's also understand here, the type of clothes what you are wearing is also encapsulation, abstraction. And I said you, in every inch of your life, you are abstraction here. Everywhere you have abstraction. Inheritance. Do you have inheritance? If you don't have inheritance, you don't have money in your pocket. Remember that. You are not there first. You are not there, you don't have money in your pockets also. And polymorphism. I said you're the good example for polymorphism. So I am not trying to relate anything to the subject here. I am trying to tell you everything in general. Are you clear? So first thing I want to tell you, object-oriented programming is a beautiful subject. It's a beautiful subject. What you require to do is enjoy the subject first. If you enjoy the subject, it will be very beautiful. If you cannot enjoy the subject and sleep lazily, it will be a rocket science one. Understood? First thing is participate in the subject. Enjoy the subject. If you enjoy, the subject is very beautiful and simple and easy. I won't tell you anything out of the context. I will relate everything with your life only and I'll show you examples to you. Now also I related everything with your life only and extend you all the examples to you. I will relate you with your life and I will show you, this is only what you're doing and the same thing we are applying in the application development. That's what I'll tell you. Are you clear, guys? So any language, if it satisfies these particular 4 principles, then only we can call that language as a object-oriented. If you don't satisfy, if you don't satisfy at least a single principle also, if you don't satisfy at least a single principle also,